Man, listen, something just happened in New York that's got the entire country talking. And I mean everyone. Left, right, center, doesn't matter. Everybody's got an opinion on this one. You ready for this? A Muslim man just became the mayor of New York City. Yeah, you heard that right. New York City, the biggest, baddest, most influential city in America, just elected Zohran Mamdani, and man, the internet is on fire right now. Half the people are celebrating like it's the best thing that ever happened, and the other half, they're losing their absolute minds. And I'm sitting here thinking, hold on, this is way bigger than just politics. This is a cultural moment. This is history being written in real time. Man, you know there's something happening in New York right now that's kind of wild, kind of historic. Actually, scratch that, it's beyond historic. It's seismic. A man named Zohran Mamdani, son of immigrants, a Muslim, a progressive, a voice that came from the streets and not from some political dynasty, just became the mayor of New York City. When I first heard that news, man, I had to take a second. I had to pause the podcast, put down my coffee, and just sit with it. Because think about it, really think about it. New York, the beating heart of Western capitalism, Wall Street, the center of global media, the city that literally never sleeps, the place where empires are built and dreams are shattered before breakfast. That New York now has a Muslim mayor. This isn't just politics, man. This is a fundamental shift in the story of America. This is the kind of moment your grandkids are going to read about in history books, and we're living through it right now. When the news broke, Twitter went absolutely crazy. I'm talking nuclear-level meltdown on both sides. Half the country didn't even know who Zohran Mamdani was. People were like, wait, who? And then they saw the name, they saw the face, they read the background. And you could literally feel the internet pause for a second. That moment of collective, oh, this is real. Because this wasn't just a political win. This was symbolism, real, loud, unfiltered, in-your-face symbolism. The kind you can't ignore, can't brush aside, can't pretend isn't significant. Look, we need to talk about something uncomfortable. For decades, and I mean decades, America's had this complicated, messy, painful relationship with Islam, especially after 9/11. Man, that day changed everything, didn't it? You couldn't even say the word Muslim in politics without people tensing up, without conversations getting awkward, without someone looking over their shoulder. The TSA lines, the profiling, the random searches that weren't random at all, the movies, the TV shows, the way Islam became this boogeyman in American culture. We all saw it, we all felt it. Some of us participated in it, whether we want to admit it or not. And now, 24 years later, the biggest, loudest, most influential city in the entire country just elected a Muslim as their mayor. Let that sink in. The most diverse, the most powerful, the most American city made this choice. That's not just wild. That's a statement. That's evolution happening in real time. You know what I love about this? And this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just that he's Muslim. It's that he's openly Muslim. He's not hiding it. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not wrapping it in PR language or trying to make it more palatable for primetime television. He's just standing there in front of the press talking about New York, talking about policy, king about housing and education and the subway system, and every now and then he'll quote something from his faith, and he does it like it's the most natural thing in the world. No apologies, no hesitation, just authenticity, and that's strength, that's real presence, that's the kind of leadership we've been missing. Because, let's be brutally honest here, man, this country needs that balance. America needs people who understand both worlds. The Western hustle, the grind, the capitalist engine that drives this nation, and the spiritual backbone that gives meaning to that hustle. The discipline, the humility, the connection to something bigger than quarterly earnings and Instagram followers. People on the streets were saying, this is the America we've been waiting for. This is finally the melting pot we were promised. This is what democracy looks like. And just a few blocks away, other people were saying, this is not my New York anymore. This is not the city I grew up in. This is not what America stands for. And you know what? That's exactly what makes this moment so powerful. Because when a change divides people this deeply, when it makes people this uncomfortable, when it Forces everyone to pick a side. It means it's challenging something deep, something foundational, something that's been sitting in our collective consciousness for decades. And that's what great leadership does. It doesn't make everyone comfortable. It makes everyone think New York's had every kind of mayor imaginable, billionaires who thought they could buy the city, celebrities who thought charisma was enough, law and order guys who ruled with an iron fist, business tycoons, political dynasties. You name it, New York's had it. But never, and I mean never, has there been someone who walked into City Hall with a prayer mat in his bag and a genuine sense of mission in his eyes, someone who sees public service not as a career move, but as a spiritual obligation. That's different, man. That's new. So here's what I think is really happening here. And this is where it gets interesting from a cultural anthropology perspective. This isn't just politics. This is culture. This is identity. This is a clash, but also a fusion of two massive, powerful identities that have been circling each other for decades. On one side, you have New York, the ultimate representation of the West, fast, capitalist, diverse but cutthroat, loud, aggressive, unapologetic, the place where you can be anyone, do anything, but you better bring your A game because nobody's waiting for you. And on the other side, you have Zohran representing a new face of Islam, intellectual, inclusive, socially aware, educated, and absolutely fearless. He's not the stereotype. He's not what Fox News has been warning you about for 20 years. He's something else entirely. And here's the beautiful part. He's not talking about division. He's not trying to impose his beliefs on anyone. He's talking about integration without assimilation. That's deep, man, because that's where the world is headed. That's the evolution that's happening, whether we're ready for it or not, towards this understanding that identity doesn't have to be erased for unity to exist. You can be fully Muslim and fully American. You can pray 5 times a day and run the most diverse city on earth. Those things aren't contradictions. They're complements. Of course, the media went insane. CNN ran it with their typical cautious optimism like they were walking on eggshells. Fox News? Man, they went ballistic. I'm talking full nuclear, every talking. G-Head had a hot take. Every pundit had a prediction of doom. Podcasters, influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers, everyone had an opinion. Some said it's the future, others said it's a threat to American values. Some celebrated, others panicked. BT. Here's the thing about modern America, about Joe Rogan's America, if you want to call it that. We're tired of extremes. We're exhausted by the screaming. We're done with the fake outrage and the performative politics. We just want authenticity. We want people who are real, who say what they mean, who mean what they say, who aren't reading from a script written by focus groups and political consultants. When I talked about Zohran on my show, it wasn't political. It wasn't left or right. It was human. I said, man, I don't care what your background is, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, atheist, Buddhist, whatever. If you're out there genuinely helping people, standing up for what's right, doing it with honesty and integrity and courage, that's leadership. That's what we need. And if this guy's the real deal, if he's not just another politician playing identity politics, then I respect that. I applaud that. B-bar T at clip, it went viral. Millions of V in 48 hours. And it wasn't because it was controversial. It was because it was real. Because people are starving for authentic conversations about complicated topics. But I talked about something else too, something that really hit people hard, something that made people stop and think. I said, I've talked to everyone on this podcast, monks, UFC fighters, astronauts, scientists, shamans, Navy SEALs, billionaires, people from every walk of life, all of them searching for something bigger than themselves, all of them trying to find meaning in this chaotic, overwhelming world. But when I look at someone like Zohran, someone who finds genuine strength in prayer, in structure, in discipline, in service to others, that's something we've kind of lost in modern Western life. We mock faith. We ridicule tradition. We think we're so enlightened because we've abandoned the ancient wisdom that kept humanity grounded for thousands of years. But maybe faith is the one thing keeping us human. Maybe that connection to something greater than yourself, whether you call it God, Allah, the universe, or just moral purpose, maybe that's what we're all missing. And that right there, that's why people connect with these conversations, because we're not afraid to admit we don't have it all figured out. We question everything, including our own beliefs, including our own biases. And when we talk about someone like Zohran, it's not us versus them. It's not political tribalism. It's human versus the noise. It's authenticity versus the algorithm. It's real connection versus manufactured outrage. Fast forward a few weeks into his administration. Zohran's not hiding in City Hall doing photo ops. He's walking through Queens, talking to shop owners, hugging kids, shaking hands with cops, sitting down with community leaders. Real grassroots energy, real human connection, and you can feel it in the city. There's this quiet shift happening, this cautious optimism, this sense that maybe, just maybe, someone actually cared. People are noticing that this guy isn't here to divide. He's not playing the culture war game. He's not pandering to his base while ignoring everyone else. He's here to fix things, to make the city work for everyone. Affordable housing? He's on it. Mental health crisis? He's addressing it. Community policing that actually builds trust? He's implementing it. Respect for all faiths, all communities? He's modeling it. These are simple ideas, man, but they're presented through the lens of humility, through genuine service, through this sense that leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. And that's something politics hasn't seen in a long time. When I first heard this news, I thought, okay, another political story, another election, another mayor. But then I realized this is so much bigger than politics. This is cultural evolution happening in real time. This is the story of America being rewritten before our eyes, because if the most powerful city in America can elect a man of faith, not in spite of his faith, but because of the values his faith represents, then maybe, just maybe, we're starting to heal. Maybe people are waking up to the fact that religion isn't the enemy. Ego is, tribalism is, hatred is, fear is. Maybe they're realizing that faith, real, genuine faith, isn't about building walls. It's about discipline. It's about compassion. It's about serving something bigger than yourself. And maybe, just maybe, they're understanding that diversity isn't chaos. It's not weakness. It's not a threat to American identity. Diversity is our greatest strength. It's what makes us adaptable, resilient, innovative. It's what's always made America special. Look, you can disagree with this man's politics. You can debate his policies. You can vote for or against him in the next election. That's democracy. That's your right. That's what makes this country beautiful. But you can't fake sincerity. You can't manufacture authenticity. You can't pretend to care about people when you don't. And if Zohran Mamdani brings genuine honesty, real compassion, and true courage to New York City, if he serves with integrity and treats every citizen with dignity, then that's a win. Not just for Muslims, not just for progressives, not just for New York. That's a win for humanity. That's a win for everyone who believes that leadership should be about service, not ego, about building bridges, not walls, about bringing people together, not tearing them apart. New York is a test case for the world, man. Always has been. If something can work in New York, the toughest, most diverse, most demanding city on earth, then it can work anywhere. So if a Muslim mayor can lead that city with vision, integrity, and genuine care for all Opal, then the rest of the world better start paying attention. Because this isn't about religion. This isn't about politics. This isn't about left or right, red or blue, conservative or progressive. This is about evolution. This is about humanity growing up. This is about us finally learning that our differences don't have to divide us. They can define us. They can make us stronger. So we started this conversation with shock, with headlines, with Twitter losing its mind, with America divided, but we're ending it with understanding, with hope, with the possibility that maybe, just maybe, we're better than our worst moments, we're bigger than our fears, we're capable of growth, change, and real progress, from fear to faith, from division to dialogue, from headlines to heartbeats. That's the journey, that's the evolution, that's what this moment represents. At the end of the day, this story isn't really about Zohran Mamdani. It's about us. It's about what we choose to see in each other. It's about whether we let fear or faith guide our future. New York just made a choice, a bold, unprecedented, historic choice. And whatever happens next, whether this experiment succeeds or fails, we learned something about ourselves. We learned that America is still capable of surprising itself, of challenging itself, of evolving, and that gives me hope. Because if New York can do it, maybe we all can.